It is the eve of the biggest college football game of the 2020 season. Alabama in Georgia, taking the field tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And this game is overshadowed by this horrible pandemic. Nick Saban has tested positive for the coronavirus. Now, Nick Saban will not be able to coach in the game tomorrow unless he gets 3 consecutive negative tests. That would suggest that if he were to get 3 negative tests, that would suggest that his first test was a false positive and he does not actually have the virus, which would be a very good thing for Alabama. This would be a very good thing for morale of the team, seeing Saban on the sideline. Desmond Howard tweets, "I believe Nick Saban will be on the field coaching tomorrow. Enjoy your Friday." Now, we don't know what Desmond knows and doesn't know. I do know that Desmond Howard makes a lot of bad picks when he's picking games. Now, this is not quite a pick of a game, but it does kind of affect things. But he believes that Nick Saban will be coaching. So there's a little bit of positivity with this Nick Saban being out thing. We don't know for sure if Nick Saban has had 1 consecutive negative test or 2 consecutive negative tests. We don't know that yet. That hasn't been released to the public. Now, they're probably likely not releasing that because for whatever reason. But we will find out tomorrow if he's going to be able to coach or not. If he is not going to be able to coach, which is the most likely scenario, Steve Sarkisian will be the interim head coach, I guess you could say. And he will be the coach on the field. And unfortunately, and I think this is really stupid by the NCAA, they've ruled that Nick Saban can't even phone in to the game. You know, I was thinking when Saban tested positive for the virus, said, he was going to be able to watch the game from home, and he would call into the headsets or whatever and be in communication with Sark and Golding and all the guys down there and Brian Denny. But they're saying he's not going to be able to do that, which is kind of ridiculous in my opinion. But without Saban on Saturday night, Sark will be the head coach. And Vegas has dropped the line by 2 points. So they're saying that Saban not being there is worth 2 points. And, honestly, I think that's about right. I honestly don't think it's going to make much of a difference. You still have to have the players line up on the field. Saban's not going to go out there and cover anybody. Saban's not going to throw passes. He's not going to take handoffs. So it's definitely better that Saban is missing the game than Mac Jones is, right? Because, Saban can still do his job. He can still prepare the team for the game through Zoom calls. And while if Mac Jones tested positive, he couldn't really do his job very well. So looking on the bright side of things, at least we don't have any players out, and at least we're still going to have this tremendous game Saturday, knock on wood. So with all that coronavirus stuff out of the way, let's just talk about this game. Georgia's 3-0. They definitely have a better strength of record so far. They've performed better, the better strength of schedule. They blew out Auburn. And we're not really sure how good Auburn is. They almost lost to Arkansas. And Georgia also beat Tennessee, and I think Tennessee is okay this year. Georgia's defense is very, very good, probably the best defense in the country, but Alabama probably has the best offense in the country. Obviously, Alabama coming off that horrible defensive performance against Ole Miss where they won 63-48, highest scoring SEC matchup of all time, in regulation at least. So it's going to be interesting, when Alabama is on offense and Georgia is on defense. When Alabama has the ball, you're going to have the 2 best units in the country going up against each other. And then when we go to Georgia's offense versus Alabama's defense, neither of those are very good. So this matchup is pretty darn even. Georgia's offense is not very good. I don't believe in Stetson Bennett. It's the Georgia's offense is just the typical Georgia offense, and there's nothing that will convince me that it's any different than it's been the last couple years. It's just kind of a trudging along, run the ball, not a very explosive offense. Kind of the offense, that reminds you of what Nick Saban had at Alabama back in 2009 through 2013, or before Tua and Jalen Hurts came. So it's going to be interesting to see I don't know if Georgia's going to be able to put up enough points to beat us. I think Georgia's going to have to score, at least getting up in the 30s to have a chance at winning this game. Probably even more. They're probably going to have to get about 35 points to win this game. So I just don't see Georgia winning this game. I think, this game's just gonna be so weird. It's a weird year, and I'm not gonna rule anything out, from happening. But I don't think Georgia can win this game. I just don't think their offense is good enough to put. And I know Alabama's defense is pretty bad, but I don't think Georgia's offense is good enough to keep up with Alabama's offense. If I had to go with a score prediction, I think it'll be a fun game, but I don't think it will be a close game, at least towards the end. I think we're looking at 35-28, and not that close of a 35-28 game. The reason I'm going 35-28 is because that was a score that happened in the last matchup. That was 35-28. But I don't think we're going to get to 35-28 the same way we're going to get to 35-28 as it was in the 2018 SEC championship game. I think this game will be close at the beginning. I think Alabama will pull out to a 35-21 lead. Georgia will score a late touchdown, make it 35-28. And that will be your final score. Alabama covers -4.5. So, it's going to be a fun game, the best game of the year. Be ready, get hyped for this game if you're an Alabama fan. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm really excited. And roll Tide, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.